Hello, this is George F551, and I decided to do a Black Friday video from a shopping mall that is struggling, and I decided to do Solomon Pond in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Starting on the upper level this time, right at the dead Sears, where we've started before, except bottom level. So, yeah, I was in a rush. I did not have time, nor was it safe to actually make a intro and outro, as the parking lots were swamped, crowded, and it was just too obvious. Plus the weather wasn't the best. And my apologies for some of this video being blown out. The hidden camera is not the best at sometimes deciding whether or not something should be brightened or darkened. But you get the idea of how busy it is. And this was definitely a very busy mall, in spite of its struggling. That new vintage toy store has been doing quite well, that just passed on the left. I guess somehow the skylights kept everything blown out. And you can see there's a few stars, or in this case, the Space Wars. It's a little bit of a space-themed shooting gallery. So yeah, that was on my mind while I was doing that. And yeah, you'll see some vacant storefronts here and there. So the vacancy rate on the upper level isn't all too bad. Now, one thing that has changed is the Hanush Jewelers. That used to be right there, but now they moved directly underneath where they are now. You can see them at the very bottom edge of the picture on the left. It's where they are now. So again, yeah, some blowout, like I said, can't really control that. It's set it, forget it, and if it wobbles, tilts to one side, it is what it is. The idea is to not draw attention to it. So it was, especially on the lower level when we get to that point, you'll see that it was quite hard to stay on the extreme left, trying to get a view of the stores on the opposite side. As most of the time when you see videos like this, they shoot the stores that are on the very side that they're walking on, but you get a better view if you just look at it from the opposite side. And there's the food court. We will go in and take a look at that a little bit later. It wasn't really all that good of a food court. Unless you like, unless you're into the worldly stuff. But then again, most of it always is kind of worldly. Although, not the stuff that my stomach can actually take too well. So like you've seen, it is a little hard to maintain the far left, trying to shoot across. There's just so many people, and yeah, I am kind of going against the grain. So, I mean, if I can't be on the extreme far left shooting, then so be it. But I try. Although it was a little less dense on this side than it was on the other, which is kind of strange how that works. So we're approaching the Macy's, and that was definitely a very busy store. We did not do a walkthrough of any of the stores, just did a lap around each of the levels and just showing you what's there, or what isn't. So then we reach Macy's, and that's about a half lap. So turn around at H&M, which surprisingly was not all that busy. And here we go again. There's plenty of people here, that's for sure. So this almost never happened today because at first I thought the video card died after I did a previous video, the Thanksgiving Day or Thanksgiving Eve run at the Market Basket, and I suddenly could no longer delete or move files. So I bought a new memory card, the fun at Best Buy, standing in line for 10 minutes to buy a $7 item that I needed to make this continue, only to find out the video card was fine. I mean, it's a memory card, but it's got video on it. Hollister, I never quite understood why they had to have a big gaudy display in the front door. Anyway, so we're once again back around and in the food court, and we'll just do a quick walk around. Dunkin' Donuts, well, it's New England, what do you expect? Then you got a Thai place, and the only thing that is standard fare is the Burger King. There's, no Chick-fil-A or Arby's or anything like that. And they got the standard fare of the 90s, the carousel in the food court. There actually is a Philadelphia cheesesteak place directly in front of us. That's the other and otherwise it's mostly Chinese and this one Mexican Spanish place that really hard to see, which is why I walked up to it, pretty much aimed at it before turning off. So yeah, if you're into worldly fare, the food court's probably a good choice. If you're into the traditional, fast food, Burger King, McDonald's, but Burger King's the only thing left. That seems to be a thing with the food courts as of late. Because the one at Whitney Field is kind of worldly as well, mostly towards the Eastern type food, like along the Asian lines. Anyway, continuing on, once again, we're about halfway from, to the return trip home in terms of where this video started. I was able to hold the left line for quite a while. There's the JCPenney's. Just trying to get a decent view. There's the Dead Hanoush, which, if you follow that little pattern that's on the floor, it goes to the elevator next to JCPenney. And it kinda points you in the direction of their new store, directly underneath. So yeah, there's another Dead store that's in the second floor. So this is almost still, although it's a bit better, it's still a tale of two malls within one. You got this upper floor, which is not doing too bad, and then the lower level that it's faring a little bit better but needs help. And this fake dead end part someone mentioned in the last video here was going to be a Jordan Marsh, but once the mall was about to be built, Jordan Marsh was not doing very well and they pulled out, so you get that fake dead end. And Newberry Comics, one of the only ones I see that even exists. For those of you not in the area, it's kind of like a much bigger version of Hot Topic, just to give you an idea of what Newberry Comics is, because it's more of a localized thing. And here we are, the shoe department, because when you have a lot of dead little stores to fill, that's where you go. So we have made a lap at the top. Let's go and see what's at the bottom. Here at the bottom, dream big on the Sears store. And they're going to need to really do that. And you're going to see that while things have improved slightly, this definitely needs a lot of help. The bottom level. Used to be a giant arcade in here. As you can kind of see, it's a little hard. Anyway, time to continue the walk, this time the lower level. And this time it was a little harder to stay, on the hard left. So of course we have dead storefronts there, dead storefronts next to the Sears on the other side as well. But it isn't all doom and gloom like it was the last time. We've got plenty of kiosks that are, for the most part, they are filled. That one's not the best example, with the failing lights. And surprisingly, no one really cares about AT&T at this moment. But there are some stores that are there that, for some odd reason, weren't open. So, that kind of hurts a little bit, but all in all, even this lower level is doing not all that badly. So here's the JCPenney again, and there's the new Hanush Jewelers right there. And if you saw the flashing multicolored lights, that's where you can let kids ride little vehicles around the mall. How I do not like that. There's another giant vacant spot next to JCPenney. There's a lot more of that, but like I said, it seems to be better than it was. So T-shirt place, they seem to be doing all right. So this is actually well lit this time around. I guess when it's the ultimate shopping time, Solomon Pond will go all out and light up the place. And I am sure that there were a lot more dead spaces here. Especially going around the corner, which I am very sure that was not occupied, which, by the way, is an Old Navy. That definitely was not occupied at one point. Or I just don't remember it, because everything's all bright. And surprisingly busy, because the last time we were here, it was a little busy up top, but it was dead as anything on the bottom. There's Santa waving hi to us, and I waved hi back. So compared to the last time they had a display there, it's way more structured. Oh, and here's the "we're full of ourselves" Apple store that tries to make themselves look important by having giant lines out the door. Whereas every other store, people pack in. Although Apple seemed to have been a little crowded in one part, but it's a false front. Not saying they're doing badly, but here, calendars, games, and toys. There's another store that is in operation, but not today. Of all the days to not be open. And the fan zone. Yeah, that's another one I was surprised to not see so many people in. Then another one of those traditional mobile phone repair stations. And we are now, once again, at the opposite end of the mall and about to make the turnaround and to call it good. So, like I said, there's Talbots, or however you pronounce them. Again, like I said, Macy's, yeah, very hard to get around. And yeah, a couple of dead storefronts next to the Macy's, which is kind of interesting, being that's a relatively busy store, and looked like they took a storefront there and just made a little alcove out of it to rest in. You'll kind of see that again. I believe I did get a good view of it. I know last time I did. So here we are, heading the other way, where the wild things are. And another dead storefront, and another view of the holier-than-thou Apple store. Although this time they got most of the people inside. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a bit of a crowd in the beginning there, but they're not really all to capacity, and there's a lounge that an entire storefront was converted into. And I actually had, as we're going past this Old Navy, a little of a hard time trying to get by some people on this side of the Santa's Village. Although here it would make sense because they're waiting for Santa. So we're once again heading back towards the dead Sears, and now it's becoming a lot more difficult to hold that left line, because like I said, I want to try to get the best view is to aim across. And then that place, Lavender I think it was, that just disappeared, they're trying to get everybody to take coupons from them. They're trying to get me, and I'm all the way over across, and so, and that's, I forget what store that was. Yeah, some of the names I didn't pay attention to. Of course, we've got the Forever 21. I know it's not called the Forever 21. Just pointing out it's the store there. And here's the JCPenney again with a much closer look at the Hanush Jewelers, which I think there were people in there. Yeah, this is definitely opened up a little bit, but there's definitely some room for improvement, especially at the anchor ends of the because even the JCPenney got that big dead spot that we just walked by. Doesn't help. And here's again the it looks like a normal exit, but on the top, like I said, it looks like a dead it looks like it's kind of like a fake dead store at the end, because an anchor was gonna go there, never came to be. So just have this flat wall and a walkway that goes absolutely nowhere. And the giant arcade that used to be next to Sears, well, now there's a microscopic wow. Much, much smaller than what was there, and just a little right of center. That whole thing was an arcade at one point. And that'll be it. So that is the Black Friday for 2022, Solomon Pond Mall, Marlborough, Mass. Again, apologies for not having an intro and outro. Again, a little pressed for time, but the main reasons it didn't happen is the parking lots were way too full, and while the rain was light enough, it didn't really hurt the hidden camera. I just did not want the phone getting damaged, and like I said, it would just bring too much attention, and it didn't need that. So that'll be it. George F551 saying, hope you enjoyed and have a good one.